everyone. So this reading is a little bit different today. I wanted this to be a reading that will benefit your mental and emotional well-being and sort of, like a self-care tune-up, check-in kind of reading. So yeah, a little bit different today, but let's see what we have. We have the Nine of Wands, the second bloom, a second chance. It's never too late, new possibilities. We have the Chariot. We have let go of control and relax into flow, meditate and decision. Let's see what this says. Sometimes the best decision is no decision at all. I love this. I love this so much. And you do have this sort of repeating theme here about two different ways you can go. Maybe some of you right now are stuck and feeling a bit directionless, like you don't know what decision to make, you don't know how to move forward, you really want to move forward. With the Nine of Wands, it's a feeling of being tired, overwhelmed, stressed, feeling like you're doing so much, but not really getting anywhere. So maybe you're putting in a lot of effort, but you're just not seeing that result that you want to see. Or you feel like you're investing so much into something, but maybe someone else isn't reciprocating, right? Like if this is talking about a relationship, maybe you feel like you're investing so much and the other person isn't meeting you halfway. They're not pulling their weight. They're not, trying to better the dynamic between you two. And so you feel stuck in that way. And when something isn't right in our life, whether it's our personal life, a relationship, our professional life, our academic life, whatever aspect of your life it is, when something feels off, I think we have this urge to try to fix it. And sometimes we can end up in a worse situation. I think that especially if you've been giving this a lot of thought and kind of agonizing over it, the best thing you can do for yourself right now and for your own mental health, right? Because that's what we're talking about today. The best thing you can do for yourself is to just stop, pause, and really try to ground yourself. I think that's why you have the meditate card and let go of control and relax into flow. And this decision card even says, sometimes the best decision is no decision at all. You're not in a position currently to change the situation for the better. And the reason for that isn't, a lack of free will or anything like that. It's just that right now, you don't have that sense of direction. And I think you're maybe even in a position of overthinking it and kind of talking yourself into circles because you really have overthought it. I don't know a better way of saying it. And it's almost like, there's like hamster wheels, you're running and running and running, but you're not getting anywhere with that Nine of Wands. And so the best thing you can do right now, as hard as it is just do nothing. Ground yourself. Get quiet. Your mind is too cluttered right now. Your thoughts are too loud. They're not helpful. You have thought yourself into a corner. And so I think you're in desperate need of some divine guidance right now. You need some intuitive downloads, and you're not going to get that clarity. You're not going to have that epiphany moment until you quiet your mind and you become receptive. Spirit is trying to talk to you and they can't get through. The line is busy. It's almost like your mind. I know it's probably been a while since anyone has listened to the radio, but if you're turning a dial on a radio and you're going through station after station after station, you're not going to get a clear message. That's sort of how it is with your mind right now. Your mind is in overdrive, thinking and thinking and thinking, trying to figure out a way, trying to make a decision on something or trying to figure out a way to move forward. and it's so cluttered that spirit can't talk to you. You have got to quiet your mind. Pause, take a breather, get quiet. And meditation is hard. I'll be honest, I struggle so much with it. My moon's in Gemini. My mind is always active. I'm always thinking. And I struggle with quiet sometimes. I like being outside if I'm going to try to meditate, because then at least you have the sounds of the birds and things like that. Because when it's just total silence, I struggle with that. Like, even if I'm doing household chores, have a TV show going, or I have music going, or I have a tarot reading going, or I like to watch Gabby Reads over here. She's the only booktuber I follow. But, it's something like that. I have to have some sort of noise going, or even just lo-fi music. I struggle. And so, no judgment here whatsoever, with me delivering this message to you from Spirit. I think that if you struggle with meditation, maybe try to just do mundane sort of activities without having noise. And, like I said, that's something I struggle with, but maybe just try it so that you can get that intuitive hit. You can get that epiphany. Spirit has space to talk to you. And if you struggle, like you feel like your mind is too cluttered, journal, get it out on paper, or even just sort of talk out loud to yourself. That could be helpful too. I used to do that when I drove more. I don't really drive a lot anymore, but when I would be on the road, I would just talk to myself in my car, or that's how I would pray. I would talk out loud to Spirit, have that conversation. And I think, just ask directly for a sign. But Spirit knows you need a sign. They know you need guidance. They're aware of it, and they want to give it to you. It's just, again, like your mind is too loud right now. So I think just practice sitting in silence, or practice having more silence in your day-to-day routine where you can get it, so that you have space to allow an intuitive hit to come in. But with this second bloom card, I feel like Spirit wants to give you this reassurance. It's like it says right here, it's never too late. Second chance, Chariot. The Chariot is about movement, right? And you being in the driver's seat, and you being able to make a decision, and you deciding the path forward. And you can have a second chance. You can get out of whatever this is that's making you so unhappy. However, we don't want to move ourselves into a worse situation, right? And so I think for you, it's like, I know I need to move forward. And I think a part of you knows that you can. It's just you may be struggling with knowing how to move forward, or you feeling really discouraged, I think is the word. Feeling really discouraged because you have tried with the Nine of Wands and you feel like you're just not getting anywhere. And that's so frustrating when you're trying to move forward, but you feel like, you're walking through wet sand, you're not getting anywhere. So as tricky as it is, I think the best thing for you right now is to do nothing. Take a pause, take a breather, regroup. And then I think it's going to be so much easier for you when it is time for you to step into the Chariot and it is time to make a decision and move forward. It's going to be so much easier for you, and you're going to feel so much more confident. All right, and now we'll read your final Spirit Cat message here. Tending the garden. Meet Gala. Her peculiar flowers bloom in the sun of her nurturing love and care. In a tucked-away corner of the forest, she planted a few precious seeds. For months, she watered the earth and sang patient love songs. Above the surface, nothing appeared to be happening, so the other kitties didn't understand why she spent so much time in the overlooked spot. Eventually, delicate emerald tendrils peeked out of the soil. Gala loved and protected them until wondrous blossoms burst forth. What seeds can you nurture in your heart? What garden are you trying to grow? That lines up really well, right, with what we've been talking about, tending to the garden. I think in this instance, the garden is really your own mind, and it needs to be tended to. I think your mind has become an unsafe space for you. It's become a space of negative self-talk, of anxiety, of fear, of worry. I'm just feeling like this sort of like mental agony. And I think you need to have your headspace be a sanctuary for you. And you need to speak positively about your future. Positive affirmations are going to help you. Setting positive intentions for yourself. Speak what you want into existence. You need a positive mindset and patience with yourself. And I think you need to speak more kindly to yourself. You need to tend to the garden, of your own headspace. And I think that will help in this process too. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hi Group 2, welcome to your reading. So today is a little bit different. This reading is for your mental and emotional well-being. So it's kind of like a self-care, self-love sort of check-in, get some guidance from spirit, a sort of comfort message, like what do you need to hear right now? So we have the Two of Wands, we have Trust the Seasons, Embracing Change, Cycles of Life, Transition, and Growth, the World, Allow Unlimited Abundance, Read, and Surrender. And this card also says, stop trying to control life. It gets in the way of divine intervention. What I really love about the story these top 3 cards are saying here, as the world turns, and I know that's from like a soap opera, but as the world turns, right, there's different seasons. And we have Trust the Seasons here. You're in, with the Two of Wands, a season of your life that is meant for planning. And so you may feel this urge to go out and to do X, Y, and Z. And Spirit is saying right now, you're meant to plan. You are in a transitional phase. You're not meant to be going out there doing everything. Plan before you act. Try not to be overly impulsive. And don't be down on yourself if you feel like you're not doing enough. All of this planning that you're doing in the Two of Wands, it serves a purpose, and it's going to help you get to this World card, which is a card of completion and success. You'll get to where you want to go. And think about it. If you were gonna plan a huge trip, you wanted to travel the world, you wanted to see all four corners, right? You wanted to experience everything in these travels. Wouldn't you need to plan that trip? Wouldn't you have a much better vacation, a much better trip, if you planned what you were going to do, if you had your flights booked, you had, living arrangements set up, hotel arrangements made, or Airbnb, whatever? Wouldn't you have a much better trip if you had a sort of at least rough idea of what you were going to do and what you were going to see? There's an episode of the Gilmore Girls where the mom, what's her name, Lorelai or whatever, she wants to take a trip and she's just avoiding life responsibilities and she's running away. And she drags her daughter along, Rory, and Rory's like, but we don't know where we're going to stay, and we don't know what we're going to eat or what we're going to do, and we don't even know where we're going. And they have a miserable time on this trip because they don't have a plan. So they end up staying somewhere they don't want to stay, eating food, interacting with people they don't want to interact with, and it's just miserable. And so if they had planned a trip, right, and if they had gone on that trip for the right reasons and not because I want to avoid responsibility, they would have had a good time. And so that's sort of what this is here. I think you want your cake, like you want this World card. You want this sense of success and completion. Sorry, I'm stumbling on my words. But you have to take it step by step, right? Like if you were going to bake a cake and you're so excited to eat this cake, right? But you don't have your ingredients together, you haven't printed out the recipe, you don't know what you're doing. It's not going to be a very good cake, right? It's going to be a bit of a mess. And so we have to plan. And I think, don't let anyone sort of rush you through this process, because sometimes it comes from outside pressure. We feel judged. And so we want to hurry up and show people how successful we are. But it takes planning, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. If you're going to open up a restaurant, a lot of planning goes into that. You have to have your permits secured, and you have to have your menu finalized, and you have to hire staff. It's not an overnight thing. And so I think whatever you're trying to do in your life, whatever this World card is, the World card, that's a major arcana card. It's big energy. What we're talking about is something big. It's not some little goal that you have for yourself. It's something big. And maybe it's, in general, the kind of life you want to live, but it's going to take time and effort. But first we have to plan, Don't get in there, rush in, just to make a lot of mistakes. And so Spirit is saying, accept right now that you are in the process of a transition. You're not in the new chapter yet. It's not time to get going. It's time to plan. And with read here, I think it's telling you to do your research. Because whatever this is, it involves some level of knowledge, research, planning, like we've talked about. and with allow unlimited abundance, I think Spirit is saying, hey, if you do this the right way, if you follow our advice here, mentally, emotionally, you're going to be happier, but also you're going to achieve even more than what you're expecting. And I think that's tying into this surrender card too, where it says, stop trying to control life. It gets in the way of divine intervention. Spirit is going to intervene to help you and to propel you forward to this world card moment. You're going to get there. But don't rush the process. Don't try to control the process. Don't try to bend fate to your will. Spirit is saying, no, it doesn't work like that. There's steps to this. Take your time. And don't try to control things that are not within your control. Sometimes when we're trying to achieve something, unexpected things happen that are outside of our control, right? External forces. Trust that. So let's say you're going to go on this big trip, right? You're going to travel the world and your flight gets delayed. Don't pitch a fit. That flight was delayed for a reason. It's frustrating in the moment, but it was delayed for a reason. And we lack that higher perspective that the divine has, right? So maybe there was a reason why you weren't meant to go on that trip yet. You were slowed down for a reason. And that reason is for your highest good. So just roll with it. Accept life on life's terms. Roll with it. Maybe there's something right now that's preventing you from taking action on what you want to do. And Spirit is saying, that's forcing you to plan. And now we'll wrap up your reading here with a message, a Spirit Cat message. I was going to say a message from Spirit, but these are all messages from Spirit. Okay. We have focus. Meet Artemis. She is the master hunter. She can focus her attention like a laser beam. She has crystal clear vision and razor sharp hearing. She even has some extra antenna that can pick up on subtle cues. She observes everything, knows how to be invisible, and leaps out at the perfect moment. We often have a zillion ideas floating in our minds. We are multitasking machines. When Artemis shows up, it is time to pick one thing, to hone in and quell distractions. How will we ever catch that mouse if we don't focus on it, letting everything else fade into the background for a moment? I feel like Spirit wants you to focus on what you can control, wants you to focus on planning, focus on the transition, accepting where you're at, and focus on, yes, the ultimate outcome of where you want to be, but do so in a way where you are planning for it, you're figuring it out, but you're not trying to force it. And you're not going out here trying to, I guess, again, sort of like bend fate to your will kind of thing, where you're going with the flow, you're doing what you can, and accepting that it's a collaborative process. When we're trying to achieve something, we have what is within our control, right? And the rest, let go and let God, right? Or let go and let the universe, let go and let the divine, whatever terminology resonates with you personally and spiritually. For me, I say God or the universe. I don't know, I kind of mix it up, I guess. But yeah, let go and let God, let go and let the universe or the divine do what it needs to do with this surrender. Because ultimately, the timeline isn't always up to us. And there's seasons for growth, right? There's seasons for abundance. And there's seasons that are quieter, that are about self-reflection and planning and sowing seeds of intention, right? And there's seasons for rebirth and renewal and fresh starts. So what season of your life are you in right now? All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.
Thank you.